December 2013. I was graduating after 5 years of studying design in Bangalore. I was sitting next to the stage, waiting for my degree, dressed in a very beautiful sari, and I couldn't help but think, I don't want to be a designer. I was 16 when I told my parents I wanted to study design. Back then, in India, everyone was pursuing three careers: doctors, bankers, engineers. I'm sure the third one all of you guessed. And I told my parents I wanted to study product design. So, after a bit of negotiation confusion, we agreed to go to Bangalore, and I accomplished 5 glorious years of studying art, design, and technology at one of the most prestigious colleges, design colleges in India. So I was sitting there at the end of it all, next to the stage, waiting for my degree in my beautiful white and gold sari, thinking, I don't want to be a designer. It turns out that back then it wasn't empowering at all to be a designer. It was almost annoying that every single time I went for work, everyone would just be like, just make this pretty, just add a splash of color, just make it more marketable. We weren't the people to be called when there was a business crisis or an economic situation or a social situation. And I hated that. I hated not being part of the decision. So after exploring different aspects of design and going around India a little bit, Mumbai, Delhi, I decided to add to this mix my one true passion: food. I'm sure you know something about that. As Italians and Indians, we're not that different when it comes to food. Because it's our way to show love. It's our way to show care, to show respect, to show how we connect with people. For Indians, it's also how we worship, how we connect with the larger universe. So, which other place better than Italy to study food and design? So, I came to Milan and I did a master's, as Andrea said, in food and design. And that really opened up a world. It's here where I learned about what's user experience design, what's user centered design, what does it mean to design thinking about a human, a person, a real person. It wasn't like that before. It was, we'll just make products and we'll sell them. But at some point, user centered design came into picture and we started designing what people actually wanted. So I worked with some of the biggest brands, some of the coolest, funkiest food brands in Milan. These are some of the projects you can see. But still, something was missing. Something didn't feel right. Something felt incomplete. Well, we were designing for just one single user. And that's not enough. Look at this. For decades, we have been driven by convenience and designing for us as humans, for one single user, for just us. And look what we've created. We've been using a material that takes 1,000 years to decompose, to preserve our food products, our drinks, just thinking about one single user. In 1976, an agrochemical company developed this very successful herbicide. It became so famous that it was being used by all farmers in fields. They started spraying it through plains. Sadly enough, this same product also brought 11,000 lawsuits to this company. This product was advertised as practically non-toxic for mammals, fish, and bird, but at the end turned out to be cancerogenous. This not only destroyed farmers' health, but it also destroyed their main source of income, their soil, their agroecological ecosystem. Is that good design? This is another example. Our food processing industry. When we process fruits and vegetables and we make canned vegetables, most of it remains. So that what you can see here is about 30% of this pineapple that gets thrown into trash. It goes into our landfills, doesn't get used, and it's perfectly good nutrition. Is this good design? So I was overwhelmed by the enormity of this, And that's when I met the Future Food Network. I was on my flight back to India. I had to cancel my flight, and when I decided to stay here, my mom didn't speak to me for weeks. She was like, "You went for one master's, now you're doing two." So I decided to stay and be a part of this dynamic ecosystem of actors, communities, organizations, companies, people coming together for one single purpose: to create a sustainable food system. To use food, a tool that connects us all, as a way to impact health, to make lives better, make our planet better, to regenerate our earth. We are a knowledge center that research loopholes in the current food system. We create an engaging dialogue, learning programs, educational programs around how can we eat better for our planet and for ourselves, for our health. We also work with FMCG companies, food companies, to create products that are sustainable, that are healthy, that are delicious, and make them also affordable and accessible. Because it is easy to make accessible, sustainable, innovative food products. If only we stop wasting all that. So what I did, I took everything I knew from all my masters, all my design knowledge, and I injected it into our theory of change that we call ecosystem thinking. I really like this definition of ecosystems by this economist, Hayden Shaughnessy. Ecosystems are dynamic relationships that spur economic development. Their disruptive power is unbounded. They change an industry, a way of work, society at large, and systems of commerce. But there isn't really a more simpler way to understand this other than looking at nature itself. It's building on to what Alessandra was speaking about before: soil. Our soil is nature's most effective ecosystem. There are millions of actors that take and give back to the ecosystems while generating a spectrum of benefits for everyone on the planet. In the food industry, ecosystem thinking is more like an intrapreneurial approach to create systemic shifts, to do multidimensional innovation. And for us, those three dimensions are knowledge, community, and R&D and innovation. For us, everything starts by first understanding its context. So we organize learning programs and we're like, okay, let's understand what are the different actors in the system, what are the causal loops, correlations between them. And then let's put in a room together, let's create a community of researchers, of philosophers, of policymakers, of educationists, of companies. Let's put them together and see what happens. Let's see what we can do when we are driven to innovate around this shared purpose. And finally, to make this innovation accessible, we take food companies on a journey of purpose-driven business design. And we help them take their resources, regenerate what they already have, and create sustainable, accessible innovation. This here, I don't know if someone of you recognize, it looks like flour or grains, but it's actually a product called BSG. That stands for Brewers Spent Grains. It's what remains after the beer production, the production process of beer. It's a highly nutritious ingredient, about 30% of protein, rest of it being pure fiber. And until recently, all of this was being either thrown away or only sent to the animal feed supply chain, while it's a great source of plant-based protein. So when a company came to us, a beer production company came to us, and they wanted to right this wrong, we joined hands and we said, yes, we're going to save 1 billion tons of this byproduct. And we made pasta, we made cakes and cookies, we made everything you can imagine from it. We spoke to farmers, we spoke to processors, we spoke to transformers. We tried to understand what are the different actors that come in contact with an ingredient like this. Who grows it? Where does it get transformed? Which industry can use it? Which kind of consumers would be looking for it? Someone looking for diversity, someone looking for sustainability, someone looking for health. And we tried to connect the dots to create opportunity areas. This isn't the only example of circularity through ecosystem thinking. This is another project which is with another food processor, fruit company. So you probably also know them, but they basically produce millions and millions of cans of canned pineapple. And when you make canned pineapple, you take out the core, which because it's not edible to be eaten fresh, it's too thick. But that's perfectly good nutrition and they waste it. So we did the same. We're a team of researchers and gastro scientists and business designers. We found the right touch points in the value chain to reduce that food waste, where we can extract that raw material from and turn it into delicious products, delicious recipes, delicious ideas. Inefficiencies in the ecosystem exist because we don't have the tools to understand its correlations. We don't have the mindset to understand that we live in an infinitely complex world. But it doesn't have to be like that. I thought of some 5 simple mindsets because I didn't want you to go back from here thinking about all the problems we have in the world. So just 5 simple things in which each one of us in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our companies can be an ecosystem thinker. So the first hat is of a researcher to constantly keep asking questions and talking to a diverse set of actors. Talk to the farmer, talk to the pasta producer, talk to the person, the little retail store under your house. Talk to all of them and understand, even if it's not related to your work, but understand how complex this system is. Be a sense maker. So take all of this knowledge and draw it out on a map, draw it out on a physical or a mental map, and try to find correlations. Try to zoom in to the specific correlation in the problem, then try to zoom out to see a synthesized big picture. Be a weaver. Connect, align, bring together synergies between different organizations because all of us are working towards the same thing. We don't have to be making our own separate companies. We can all come together towards this shared purpose. Be a negotiator. This is the one I really like because we are living in an infinitely complex world. Almost never will there be a situation of black and white. We won't have a yes or a no. We won't have a right or a wrong. Is plastic better than glass? Actually, it depends. It depends on your local recycling systems. It depends if the plastic is recycled or not, is recyclable or not. In some situations, plastic is better than glass because glass uses a lot of energy and water to be washed and reused again. So it's almost always a trade-off, and it's important to begin understanding how we can create that trade-off to be a successful community of human beings on this planet. And finally, be a pirate. Be a pirate in the sense we are today here in this situation because our existing models don't work. We need to change something. We need to come up with new models. We don't need more products. We need new systems. We need new models that can be replicable ideas of sustainable living. So be a pirate and don't be afraid to question what is the flow of knowledge, what is the flow of economy in my local environment, how is the money flowing, can I change that, can there be something open source, can there be a new model. Ecosystem thinking enables companies to eliminate their externalities. It helps us to eliminate our carbon footprint or reduce at least. But more importantly, it teaches us how we can unite towards shared responsibilities. It shows us that we are not alone in this. We have to share this burden. And most of all, it helps us understand that yes, food unites us around the table, but it also unites us around the market. So to finish my talk on a delicious note, I have this plate here. It's an example of everything I've been talking about. It's what we consider food waste. It has pomegranate skin, melograno, pomegranate skin, cream of pineapple core, and a powder of seeds of pomegranate. And I'm going to eat this, and it's going to be delicious.